No, you have got to be kidding me. How? Tarik Skubal is a Los Angeles Dodger, and that's not even the surprising part. What's crazy is the package back in the trade to the Tigers for Tarik Skubal is extremely underwhelming, and I don't care what the people online are saying. River Ryan, a 28-year-old prospect with a ton of injuries. Zyhir Hope, who's a top 25 prospect but is a corner outfielder, strikes out 25% of the time at AA. We'll talk about his shortcomings as a prospect, even though I think he is very good. And Brady Smith, who's a former third-round pick in A-ball, who's got some good strikeout rates in the minors, but he's got like a 40-plus future value. Give a round of applause to the Los Angeles Dodgers, because I thought that this haul was going to be so much more for Tarik Skubal. I was trying to convince myself in any possible way that the Dodgers weren't going to get him. Maybe it was going to be the Milwaukee Brewers. They have a bunch of great prospects, a bunch of Major League ready pitching that maybe they could give a better package. Maybe even like the Atlanta Braves. Maybe there was going to be a surprise team that came in. Maybe the New York Yankees. Imagine me talking about this. I just mentioned the Braves and the Yankees as teams that I was trying to convince myself might trade for Tarik Skubal because we didn't want the Dodgers to go get the best pitcher in Major League Baseball, or if not, one of the 3 best pitchers in Major League Baseball. And somehow the Dodgers were able to do it without giving up one of their top 4 prospects in their system. Zyhir Hope's like top 25 guy. He's very good. Again, we're going to talk more about him in a second. They also gave up River Ryan, who's a 28-year-old pitching prospect. The arm injuries. Brady Smith, like he might be okay, but like the stuff isn't ridiculous. I can't even believe that this is the trade that got Tarik Skubal. Credit to the Dodgers. They got their guy. I wouldn't be surprised if within the next week we hear a contract extension with Tarik Skubal signing with the Dodgers long term. It's going to break baseball. It is going to cause a lockout. Wonderful. But also, shame on the Detroit Tigers. I feel like they didn't have to trade him at midnight on Saturday night. The trade deadline's on Monday. Did you really think that there was no possible way that you could squeeze teams for more? Was this what you were happy with? A corner outfielder who has swing and miss problems at times, but does have really good power? A 28-year-old pitching prospect with injuries? And a 21-year-old prospect who hopes to be a back-end guy in a rotation? I don't get it. I really don't understand it. And shame on the rest of Major League Baseball, too. That haul, all the teams that were competing could have made that trade. You're telling me that you couldn't find a close to Major League ready pitching prospect, and I know River Ryan's like a top 100 guy. He's the same age as Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette's on his 2nd contract. I'm not going to hear the River Ryan prospect hype. Yes, he is a good pitcher, without a doubt, and he is going to have some good seasons. But I mean, not Emmett Sheehan. You went River Ryan instead of Emmett Sheehan? That blows my mind. That's absolutely insane to me. That's disgusting. I think the Tigers did a horrible job on this trade. I think this is a horrendous haul back in terms of the guy that they had and all the hype that was building around it. We're hearing bigger prospects' names being talked about for players that aren't nearly as good as Tarik Skubal. And this was the trade back for him? I'm sorry if this video is not particularly articulate, or if there's not a ton of analysis going on here, and it really is just me being an angry little Greek-Italian guy at midnight yelling at his camera for his YouTube audience. But this trade is absolutely, it's a fleece. It is a fleece. Again, the Dodgers front office does it again, and I don't know how they keep getting away with this. And I've said this before in the past. Why do teams continue to make these deals with the Los Angeles Dodgers, but then you're going to hear all these owners and these front offices claim poor when they're part of the problem too? You don't want the Dodgers to be guaranteed to win the World Series every year? Stop making bad trades with them. Oh my God. I'm like getting sweaty in here. I gotta turn on my AC in this room. I'm legitimately mad, and I really hope I don't wake up my neighbor's newborn baby because I'm screaming at midnight. But this is not nearly enough for Tarik Skubal. How did the Brewers not match this? From a really stupid perspective, just not Logan Henderson. Logan Henderson, I think, is better than River Ryan. Logan Henderson's great. He's also 24 years old. You're telling me you couldn't have given a Luis Pena in this? Henderson and Pena already is miles better of a return. I'll be honest, even a Josh Adamszewski, I think is how we say this guy's name. I'm shocked that he wasn't in this as well. If you were just going to trade for a future quarter outfielder with some pop, I feel like you could have taken a look at this guy, especially because when we just dive deeper into this, these are not the big name, absolute home run, MVP, all-star, Cy Young caliber guys that you'd expect to be moved for Tarik Skubal, even in a world, which is the one that we exist in, where he is a rental. Because we know that the Dodgers are going to extend him. This is the fakest rental idea ever. And when you were the Tigers, you knew you were trading him to the place where he's probably going to sign an extension. And guess what? You gave them a head start. You let them get a few more months of talking to Tarik Skubal now to talk contract extensions. He's going to be a Los Angeles Dodger. He's going to sign that deal before the lockout. And now the owners are going to use this to be part of the lockout, say that we need a cap, and it's going to be grandfathered in because Skubal's going to sign this contract before any of that ever happens. Oh, what a friggin' disaster, man. What a disaster. And I feel like the baseball world is pretty much in agreement that, yeah, this was a light return. I feel bad for Tigers fans. You saw an all-time great get traded for what is going to end up being I think, pretty underwhelming package. And it's not that River Ryan won't be a good pitcher. It's not that Zyhir Hope won't be a good Major League Baseball player. That would be super, super hypocritical of me and honestly pretty lame of me to say. I'm not going to pretend like these guys are jabronis or bums by any means. But I think to have these prospects be the ones that are moved days before the deadline, 45 hours before the deadline even ends, it just feels like they didn't even shop around, or was nobody interested? I can't wrap my head around how this is the deal and how it's being done this early. Like, this is the deal that blew the Tigers away. That can't be possible. And if it is, I think they really have to take a deep look at what they're doing evaluation-wise, because it just doesn't make any sense. Like, the Dodgers are just winning the World Series. That's it. It's really not that simple, but they're going to dominate. This makes them on another level. The fact that you're going to have Yamamoto and Skubal and eventually Blake Snell and Glasnow, and if Ohtani ever decides that he wants to pitch again, it's crazy to me. It's baffling. And the last thing I'll talk about here with the Dodgers is credit to them. They moved a former 11th round pick in River Ryan. They moved a former 7th round pick in Zyhir Hope, who they got from the Chicago Cubs, I believe in the Michael Busch trade. And they moved, a 3rd round pick in Brady Smith from the 2023 draft. He's drafted 3 years ago. Like, that's an incredible job by the Dodgers front office to get these guys in moves and rounds and picks that are not necessarily considered the most valuable, and to turn them into 3 months of Tarik Skubal, which will eventually be a contract extension. It's absolutely worth it. It is a masterclass by Andrew Friedman once again, and the rest of Major League Baseball should be absolutely ashamed that they let this happen. This is one of the biggest smudges on the game in a while. I'm never going to be pro-lockout. I don't believe in the cap. I'm a Mets fan. I'm biased, whatever it is. I don't really care what you think of my opinions, but I am now fully understanding why more and more fans are going to be pushing for the lockout and for the cap and the floor and all that kind of stuff. Because when you see this and you're a fan of a competing team, I totally understand the immense amount of frustration that you have, and I'm truly sorry. And for Tigers fans, I'm sorry. You should have been able to make Tarik Skubal a franchise player. Instead, you trade him away in a disappointing season, and I think the package back is super underwhelming. Like, looking at River Ryan, okay, objectively speaking, he's probably going to be a pretty good pitcher. I don't think he will ever come close to the heights of Tarik Skubal. I don't think he's a number 1. I think he could be a good 2, and that's ultimately where I think he kind of lands, is like ceiling-wise. I see him as a great 2, nasty 3 playoff pitcher. And you look at this stuff, he throws 98 miles an hour. That's great. The slider grades out extremely well. Again, big shout out to Prospect Savant for all these numbers. And even the pitching percentile stuff under the hood looks great in the PCL, which is a very difficult league to pitch in. K rate's one of the highest, doesn't walk guys, attacks batters, throws a ton of strikes. The whole issue with River Ryan, again, is the fact that he has had a bunch of injuries throughout his career. It's a really cool story. He actually switched positions, became a pitcher, and has become really good. But I can't willingly say that a dude who is turning 28 in 15 days is a top anything prospect. That's not really how it works. Players have breakouts as they get older. There's no doubt about it, but he's 28. Like, I don't know, guys. That feels crazy to me. Maybe I'm too hung up on the age. You can let me know in the comment section down below. Let's talk about Zyhir Hope. There's a lot of things to really like about him. Really good power potential. Dude hits the ball hard. But one thing that does stick out to me, even though he's only 21 years old, he's very young. But again, he's going to be a corner outfielder. The K rates at AA are kind of middling. The chase rates are middling. The whiff rates are like a little better than average. Zone contact and zone swing. Like, none of these things besides the actual results particularly stand out to me as like a whoa, can't miss guy. Even like the pulled ball in the air rate just doesn't really get me the most excited. I think he is a great prospect. I don't like him in a trade for Tarik Skubal as the prospect. That's where I end up standing with this. I think Zyhir Hope will be a good player, but thinking about him as the number 1 prospect piece in the trade feels kind of crazy to me. And if he's not the number 1 prospect piece, it's the 28-year-old pitcher with arm issues. That's even crazier. Like, come on, guys. What are we talking about? What are we talking about, Dodgers fans? You know you got away with this. You know it. We can't keep letting them get away with this, and Major League Baseball teams do. That's the most annoying part. This was matchable. Dude, Adam Shevsky guy, he could play second base. He's going to be a corner outfielder. Like the Adam Shevsky guy, pulls the ball in the air, makes just as good swing decisions. Higher zone swing, higher zone contact. You're telling me you couldn't have done him in a trade? Does sometimes feel like the Dodgers prospects do get a boost just because they're in the Dodgers org. This archetype existed, and it existed in another organization that was going for Tarik Skubal. I'm so disappointed that the Brewers didn't make this move. Maybe they're cooking something else. Maybe the trade deadline's going to get crazy. But you can see like why Zyhir Hope is probably not truly as special as a prospect just because there's comparable players with similar skill assets at similar positions on teams that are also competing. Like that's all I want to do about that conversation. Zyhir Hope, I hope he does incredible. This is nothing personal. It's nothing personal to River Ryan. It's just like I'm upset about the Dodgers. I want to complain and whine and moan and be annoying. And now on to Brady Smith. I think something that's super important to talk about is that a lot of his production so far has come at A-ball. Smith was drafted in 2023, didn't throw a pitch until last season, 2025. And there is absolutely no doubt that he dominated A-ball this year, like 37% K rate. The walk rate was solid enough. The whiff rate, all that stuff was good. But he was basically like the league average age, like nothing out of the ordinary that gets you a bump to the next level. The high A-ball sample is extremely small, and we're not going to go too crazy into it, but I do think that we see that the stuff does not play nearly as well at high A-ball so far as did low A-ball. This is a little bit like stupid of me to say because again, the sample size is not stable by any means. But for a right-handed pitcher who sits in like the mid-90s, is a fastball changeup guy over that slider or curveball or cutter, this one to me feels like an interesting lottery ticket. I don't even think it's a lottery ticket, but just that's an interesting one. I don't know. The Tigers did not get a lot back, guys. I think that's really what the point of this conversation is. Tigers didn't get a lot back. The Dodgers got the best pitcher in baseball in Tarik Skubal. He's going to sign an extension there. I am truly shocked at how little back the Tigers got, even if it's a rental. Dodgers fans, congratulations. This is not an anti-Dodgers video. I don't particularly care about the lockout ramifications. It doesn't make me want a lockout more. I don't want one. Baseball's in an incredible spot. I just wish that the other teams weren't as afraid to make a shot at this. And also, I wish the Tigers just held out for, I don't know, another 24 hours. You couldn't have juiced more. That feels absolutely insane to me. And it feels like they took a deal a little bit too early. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts and opinions on the trade down in the comment section below. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it, as well as subscribe to the channel. Most of you watching the channel aren't subs, so click that sub button so you don't miss out on the content. And I gotta edit this and go to sleep, so I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Oh my God!